Hello and welcome everyone to the Triax DIY series. Today we are looking at the ramp warm-up, or ramp it up as we've been plugging. Now Damo, done 100 blogs on this, mate. Tell the people the background about ramp.
Yeah, just the one blog, Rob. But ramp, so when we're warming up, we're looking at ramp. So that is R is for raise, A is for activate, M is for mobilise, and P is for potentiate.
There we go, very good. And so Sean, what sort of exercises will we be doing in this instalment?
So I guess starting off with the R, you might just get into starting off with a jog and slowly increasing your running speed. Activate, you might do like some lunges, arabesques, glute bridges, that sort of thing. For the M, mobilise, some stretches, and you're reaching that full range of motion, so maybe some ground balls, something like that. And the potentiate part of ramp is going to be your sprints, jumping, landing, change of direction, that sort of thing.
Yeah, beautiful. So how long roughly in duration should we be looking at doing a ramp warm-up?
We're looking at about 10 to 15 minutes. That's going to be the sweet spot. Obviously, it depends how much time you have before training. The weather can be an influence as well. If it's really cold outside, you might want to go for a little bit longer. And if it's hot, you might not need to go for as long.
Yeah, beautiful. And so then Damo, so what sort of intensities will we be looking at?
Yeah, so in the raise part, we're looking at sort of that 70% plus. So it's a jog. Obviously, it's not too light, but we want to raise the heart rate there. So making sure that we get it up to there. Activate and mobilise, they're generally put together, and the intensity again is around that 70% mark. And then when we're getting into the potentiate phase, that's when we're looking at that high speed stuff. So
really
sprinting, so you know it's going to be looking at 90% or higher.
Beautiful. So Damo and I are going to be the guinea pigs for Sean. So Sean is going to take us through some exercises.
Let's go. Right, so now we're going to take you through a warm-up. Rob here is going to be our guinea pig, so let's get started. Rob, down on the jog, down this way, please. All right, Rob, drop down to the ground. We're going to do a roll and reach. So roll onto your back, and then up and reach forward. So we'll give Rob about 6 to 8 reps of this one. And then from there, staying on your back, legs up, going side to side. So as part of our ramp, this is some of our M, our mobility stuff. So the R, the A, and the M, you don't have to do it in a specific order. You can sort of merge them all together. All right, Rob, going over the hurdles. So leg out, and then bring it in. Walking forwards. All right, Rob, so now you're going to turn around the other way, and you're going to go backwards. So this time, in to out. So a lot of players tend to like this one. They like how it feels on their hips. Back on the jog. So now I want you facing me, and we're going to do side steps. Get down nice and low. And switch. Stride it out. All right, Rob, drop down on your hands and knees now. So we're going to do what we call a chainsaw. So hands and knees, one arm reach through, and then bring it up and around. So I want you to do 5 on each side. All right, so now we're going to go into a walking lunge. So just straight ahead. So walking lunge is going to be a nice exercise for our A, our activate. Right, now into an arabesque. So down on one leg, bring your head, take a couple of steps, to the next leg. This is a good exercise to get a nice stretch through the hamstrings. Right, into an A skip. So nice and quick off the ground. Now into high knees. So quick off the ground. Straight out. All right, Rob, now into some leg swings, so you can use this to balance on. So going straight ahead first. So So leg swings, this is another good one where you can get some stretch through your hamstrings, but it's one of the probably the most butchered exercises that we'll see at training. A lot of players do it pretty half-assed. Want to make sure that we're not coming right up and swinging through our back, and we're just moving through the hip. Right, so now into a side lunge. So keep this leg nice and straight, turn. So side lunge is actually really good because we can get some mobilization through the groin, and then some activation through the outside leg that's pushing off. All right, Rob, back on the jog. Right, into a karaoke, face me. And switch. Straight out. Right, Rob, turn around, now we're going to back pedal. On the whistle, turn around into a jog. So now I'm going to blow the whistle a couple more times. With each one, he's going to pick up the pace. So this is more of our raise. As we start the session with any warm-up, we want to start low and gradually increase the intensity. So now we're moving from the jog into the faster pace running. All right, Rob, so next one we're going to do some jumping, landing, and into some bounds. So you're going to start off going 45-degree angle, stick the landing. Let's go, coming out this way. Nice. So a little bit quicker on your feet now. And faster again. Faster again. Let's go faster again and into a run. So this is where something like bounding and jumping and landing, this is part of our potentiate phase of the warm-up. You can include it into this warm-up, or alternatively, a good way to do it is once you've done maybe your first 5 to 10 minutes, you can set up a couple of stations where you might have some acceleration or sprint work at one. You might have some change of direction at another, or some jumping and landing, plyometric type stuff. Because it's just easier to split up the group into smaller numbers instead of trying to get everyone to do it at once. All right, Rob, now we're going to go into some zigzags. So simple change of direction. Good plant. All right, next one, Rob, ground balls and high marks. So down to one side, jump up. Right out. Right, so now, last part of our warm-up, we're going to take Rob through some sprints. So it's really important that you don't do any sprint work until you've warmed up. As you've seen, we've warmed up Rob pretty well. He's sweating a bit. So now we can get into some sprint stuff. So Rob, on the whistle, you're going to sprint. When you hear the whistle again, jog, and then keep alternating.
So there we have it, guys. Just finished the warm-up series. Thank you to Sean and his brilliant expertise. Now, Shawnee, some people don't have the luxury of the field size we had today. So what can people do to make this a flexible process?
Yeah, so either at training, you might have to share with other sides, or even game day, you're going to have your opponents using the other end. So you won't have the whole field. What you can do is essentially the exact same thing, but just over a space of maybe 20 to 40 meters. Set up some lanes with some cones, and you can just follow the exact same process, just in a shortened space.
So it might be an idea to get to wherever you are early and suss out what you have and then what you can construct off that as well.
Yeah, so obviously it might, depending on game day as well, if you're going to a field you've never been to before, you need to suss out, sometimes even with the other coaches or the other team, what end they go to, and then use the opposite at training as well. It might be a little bit easier because everyone's sort of familiar with where they're trained, but still get ahead of it and make sure you're prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Damo, so in terms of variation for this warm-up as well, we can't do the same warm-up all the time, can we? So it's important to throw in a couple of different drills there as well.
Yeah, it's not rigid, the warm-up. You can adapt and change it to your team, the setting and all that sort of stuff. So we've just given you a rundown on a few things that you can do here today. And this is one of many examples. If you played at different teams or different sports, you're going to have done many different warm-ups. So this is just a guide, and it's not gospel that you do in the way we've done it today.
Beautiful. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another DIY from the Triax team. Be sure to check us out on all our social media platforms. Bye for now.